One surprise, right?
I like your shoes.
Sparkling.
Bling.
It's filled.
I'll now call this Committee of Adjustment meeting to order. It's the hour of 5 o'clock. Welcome to the committee members and the public. I'll read the land acknowledgement statement. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge with respect the history, spirituality, and culture of the Anishinaabeg, the people of the Three Fires known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi Nation, who have inhabited this land from time immemorial, and further give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, now known as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as the traditional keepers of this land. We also recognize the Métis and Inuit peoples whose ancestors shared this land and these waters. May we all, as treaty people, live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship, all its diverse peoples. So I'm looking to have a mover that the agenda be approved as presented. Motion made by committee member Moore Coburn, seconded by committee member Ladresse. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Committee member McMillan, I see your hands up. We can't see you, but maybe you're going to give us some insight.
I'm not sure. I think my computer's going bad here.
Okay.
Camera doesn't seem to be working.
Okay. Well, how about if you can still raise your hand if you need to vote in the affirmative. And if you have, you can also put your hand up and we can ask for a comment too. But if you feel like we've missed you and you need to intervene, I'll just have you unmute yourself and sing out. How about that?
That works.
Okay, that's okay
All
with
right.
you, Madam Secretary
Thanks.
Treasurer? Okay, thank you. I'll ask for a declaration of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, I'll let the committee members know that if you deem a pecuniary interest at any time during the meeting, you can declare at that time. I'll now look for a recommendation on the minutes of July 16th, 2024, that the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on July 16 be adopted. Looking for a mover and a seconder. Moved by committee member Ladresse, seconded by committee member McMillan. All those in favor? That motion is carried. So we'll move to new business. Today, item 6.1, application Dev 2024-049-B2024 Beckett. The recommendation is recommended that application B11-24 be deferred to a future hearing until such time as all review agency comments can be addressed by the applicant. Looking for a mover and a seconder. Moved by committee member Ladresse, seconded by committee member Moore Coburn, and I'm going to turn this over to the planner for comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Still went to reach for a microphone there.
Same here. Same here.
The application B 2024 for Mr. and Mrs. Beckett was circulated for agency comments on August 28th, 24. County of Ray provided comments, and the application was circulated on July 30th, and the County of Ray planning firm provided comments on August 28th. And those comments essentially are recommending that the applicant amend the proposed parcel size to bring it more in line with the county policies. They're also looking for a karst assessment and MDS calculations. So based on those comments, staff are recommending that the application be deferred to allow the applicant's time to address those comments.
Thank you, Mr. Planner. So before I comment, I'll look to committee members if there's any questions, comments. Seeing nothing, I note that the applicant is not in the chambers here today, so is it safe to say they're aware and they're in agreement to take some time to consider the comments?
Yes, to Mr. Chair, I did circulate the county comments to them. They're reviewed and they're aware that these changes should be made.
So what happens next? Did they communicate with you about the next steps?
Yes, the ball's essentially in their court now. They'll have to come up with a revised configuration, and then they'll need to recirculate that revised, excuse me, configurations coming to Natchez just to see if we get different comments coming.
Thank you. If there are no further comments, seeing nothing, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Our next item of business, 6.1.2, DEV 2024-50, B21/24 Wilson. This is the meeting of the Committee of Adjustment to consider the application for severance for Andrew Wilson under Section 53 of the Planning Act regarding property located at Part Lot 23, Georgian Range, Keppel. Madam Secretary Treasurer, please go ahead with your review.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There have been no requests for deferral or withdrawal of the application. Notice of the severance in accordance with Ontario Regulation 197/96 made under the Planning Act was given on August 12, 2024 by ordinary mail to all property owners within 60 meters of the property, which is subject to the application and to all the required agencies. Notice was also posted on the subject lands and on the township's website. If you wish to be notified of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment, you must make a written request to the Secretary Treasurer of the committee. Only a person or public body that requests the notice of the decision of the committee in respect to this proposed severance may submit an appeal.
Thank you. I will now read the recommendation. It has been demonstrated that the proposed application B21/24 is consistent with the PPS and complies with the Grey County Official Plan and the general intent of the purpose of the Township of Georgian Bluffs zoning bylaw 2020-20. Accordingly, it is recommended that the application be approved with the following conditions applied. That a reference plan be completed and a copy filed with the municipal clerk, or an exemption from the reference plan be received from the Land Registry Office. That pursuant to Section 53, paragraph 42 of the Planning Act, the certificate of consent be affixed to the deed within 2 years of the giving of the notice of decision or as specified in the Planning Act at the time of deed stamping. Note, Section 53, paragraph 43 of the Planning Act requires that the transaction approved by this consent must be carried out within 2 years of the issuance of the certificate, i.e. the stamping of the deed. 3, that the applicant pays the applicable consent certification fee at the time of certification of the deeds. 4, that the applicant pays the applicable consent certification fee at the time of the certification of the deeds. That the applicant pays 5% cash in lieu of parkland in accordance with the Planning Act. 5, that a supporting zoning bylaw amendment be in force and effect that enacts a holding provision on the severed lands requiring the issuance of a limited service agreement prior to any development being approved. I'm going to ask for a mover and a seconder. Moved by Committee Member LaJosse, seconded by Committee Member McMillan. Could the planner please give us a summary of the planning report regarding this file?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Application B21-24 proposes to sever an area of approximately 1.45 hectares with frontage of approximately 130 meters along the Trimble bypass for future residential use. Retained parcel would have an area of approximately 18.35 hectares with frontage of approximately 166 meters along Railroad 1 and is occupied by an existing barn used for storage purposes. In terms of comments received, notice of the complete application and public hearing was circulated on August 12th, 2024 to various agencies. And on August 29th, staff received comments from the County of Grey Planning and Development Services and are suggesting that provided MDS can be met, county planning staff have no concerns with the subject application. In terms of MDS and other matters, a review of area barns was undertaken and MDS calculations were completed, noting that the closest barn is approximately 630 meters to the southwest. Calculations performed for that barn resulted in a approximate minimum distance separation of 116 meters. And that separation distance is easily achieved given the distance between the barn and the separate parcel. The other matter that has come out, which actually spawns condition 5, is note that the Kemble bypass that fronts the separate parcel is an open, although seasonally maintained municipal road. Accordingly, a limited service agreement would be required into with the owners of the separate parcel prior to any development of the lands. To accomplish this, the easiest, best method is to implement a holding provision on the separate lands with the requirement, and sorry, the holding provision would be implemented through a zoning bylaw amendment. And the holding provision would require the enactment of a limited service agreement before any structural development could occur on the separate parcel. With that, those are the extent of the comments received.
Thank you, Mr. Planner. I now call upon the applicant to provide comments. Please state your first and last name for the record prior to beginning.
My name is Andrew Wilson. Hi, everybody. Chair, committee members. What would you like to know? Would you like to say a little more about the reasons and what we're thinking behind the application?
You don't have to. So I think that if you had comments you wanted to share, if you're satisfied with the application as it's presented, then that's fine. You can actually just close your comments and wait to see if there's any questions from the public, or doesn't look like there's much public, but maybe committee members also have a question for you. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait for.
yeah, that's fine.
Questions.
Yep. Thank you. So are there any points raised by the planner, applicant, or public that the committee wishes to respond to? Okay, seeing no questions, then I will see there's no further discussion. I'll now call for a vote on the motion as presented. Oh, did we get a second? Mover and second?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
I did. I don't think I did. So before, I'll ask for a mover and a seconder for the recommendation. Moved by committee member Ladrasse, seconded by committee member Workover. If there's no further discussion, I'll now call for a vote on the motion as presented. All those in favor? That motion is carried.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes it's easier than other times.
Sure.
Seeing that there is, or I'll ask, it appears there's no unfinished business. Any unfinished business or other business from the committee members? Seeing none, I'll note that the next regular meeting is to be held Tuesday, October the 15th at 5 p.m. And if there's no further discussion, I'll now call for an adjournment of this meeting. Moved by committee member Moore Coburn, seconded by committee member McMillan. All those in favor? That motion is carried. We are now adjourned. Have a good evening. So sometimes it's not that easy.